Alright, we're ready to, I got the fuel tank assembled, got our lines on there, and we're fixing to put it in here. Usually I tape the ends of these together to feed them through, but since I've got holes up here that I can get to it, I'm just going to use tweezers and feed them through there. And get them in here out of the way. Pull that through. Alright. Put that one in there. That one in there. Almost let it slip out. Now I've got to kind of pull on these as I slide this in there. Now I've got some foam stuff. Slide that back and feed them through as I push it. I have to bend this one back up just a little. My fill line, I had to bend it down because it was hitting the screw on the doggone carburetor. These 4-strokes are a booger to put on most of these planes because you have a lot less room to work with. Let's try this again. See if I can get that in there. Hold the other one. Okay, I'll pull these. Put this down. Here we go. Fuel tank is in place. Nice and snug. So one of my perks of my job, this foam stuff comes in boxes of teeth that I order, and it makes great padding to fold up and put. This is what I put underneath the fuel tank to wedge it in there tight and pad it. Now, it comes with this little board to put in here and glue it in place. I don't normally like to do that because then if you have to take the fuel tank out, sometimes it's hard to get that loose without breaking it, but I really don't have anything to tie to, so I'm going to go ahead and just lightly tack this with some thin CA. Right under there, right under there. Okay, now fuel tank is installed, electronics are all installed, everything's set, so the inside's done. Let me get around here now. Let's hook up some I almost left my tube sticking out too long. That one's hitting against the carburetor. I'm afraid it's gonna poke a hole in it. That's the vent. Might be alright. Run it down through here. Let me get a screwdriver out. If I could get in there and just bend that over just a little bit. There we go. That'll take the torque off of it. Alright, that's my vent for the muffler. This fill line, I have to go down through there. Okay. Fill line will go back here, and this is the carburetor line. So if the throttle wow, that'll work. Yeah, that'll work. The throttle won't hit it. And everything's clear so far of the throttle linkage. Scissors off here. Oops, got my camera leg on them. Alright, let's get that cut. I gotta put a fuel filter on here too though, so I'll have to do that. Alrighty, now this, let me get my sanding block. I want to flatten that really good. I want sand under here. Now, get our thin CA out again. I usually use the little fill dot fittings that go through the side of the cowl, but this plane came with a little wooden fitting here. It's kind of neat. I'm going to use it. Okay. Put that all in there. Let the glue sit. Let's roll it over to the bottom. Okay. Now, this has got a little hole in it, a little groove for the hose to go down through. I guess you can actually just slide it back in there like that. Yeah, cool. Now, if I pull it down, I want about that much to fill. Alright, let's get my fill dot that it came with. We'll plug that in there, and then we can push this. Well, I don't care for that. Don't go up in there good. Not sure if I like that or not. I might just see how hard it is to get to right there to fill. I just need enough to get a hold of. So, that'll probably work. Pull it down here. Pull that off. We'll see how this works once we get the cowl on it. There's our fill line underneath there. Put my glue up before it gets everywhere. Okay, let me get the muffler. Alright, put the muffler on here. It shows in the instructions of the muffler going on the outside of the cowl, but I don't really care for that. I would rather have it in here and put an extension on it. I don't know if I've even got, I think I'm out of them. Yeah, I'm going to have to either rob one off another plane or have to get some ordered. I had some yellow ones. Would have been nice, but I'll steal the one on my gals. It's yellow and put it on here. And that'll channel the fumes on down lower. But I'd rather have it coming out of the middle. That way it'll just be a small hole over here in the cowl for the tip of the muffler instead of the whole thing. So we'll try that. Let me get this thing. Well, actually I need to put some silicone on it, so let me get that done and then I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, this is just a heat gasket sealer. You can get it at automotive store. On 4-strokes, the pipes go in on a header. And not like a 2-stroke where they fit flush with 2 bolts. This actually screws in. If you don't put sealer around this, it will leak air around these threads and leak fuel a little bit. So you want to put a thin coat of this heat gasket. Make sure it's for heat, for engine, automotive or something, for a car. So not just silicone or something. Now, got it on that side. We'll thread that into the muffler down to about right there. Okay, we'll get it everywhere now because it's going to squish out. Kind of messy, but okay. Take my little crescent wrench. We're going to tighten that and that down. Good. Now we're going to put a little bit on this end that goes in the head. Being careful not to get any inside the tube. You just want this on the outside here. Okay, now since I'm getting it everywhere, it is messy. I think denatured alcohol. Yeah, denatured alcohol will take it off of your hands. Just spray some of that on there. Wipe it on a towel. Now I gotta get it off my muffler. We don't want that cooking on there. I got it on my table towel here. Let me put the lid on this stupid thing before I get it everywhere. Okay. Now we are going to make sure that is threaded straight. Start it in there. Crank it up there pretty good. I want that over in the middle. So I'm going to take my set nut. And my crescent wrench again. And we're going to tighten that down really good. That part came loose. Okay, I don't want that coming loose from vibration. Now that's fairly centered up. And the bottom is where I want it. So let me clean myself up here again. See if I can get the table halfway cleaned off. Okay. Alright, we got our muffler all set. Now, all we need is a little bit of line to hook to that. There we go. Throttle all the way forward, we'll miss it. All the way back, we'll miss everything. Good. Fill line, I think I'm going to want to take it through this other side over here. I can get it up through here. Let's take it down here. I hope I haven't cut it too short. Almost have. Doggone it. But I think over here is going to have, where it's going to be, because on this other side, the throttle, when it went all the way back, it kind of pinched it. You don't want that rubbing on anything. So, what I'm going to have to do is splice a little piece in here to make this a little longer. And to do that, I'll just cut it up here. We'll use this. And I will get a piece of my aluminum tubing. I can figure out what I did with it. I think it's here. It is. You can buy this brass or aluminum tubing at Hobby Lobby, different sizes. So we're going to cut 2 pieces of that. Gets warm. Take the burrs off of it. Don't want it eating a hole in our tubing. Okay. Now, let's take a knife and make sure the inside doesn't have any burrs that will get pulled up into our carburetor or back in our fuel tank. Get all that nicely cleaned off. Now, we'll put that piece up in here, good ½ inch or so. Then we'll take our extension, put it all the way up on there like that. Okay, make sure this one's clean, no burrs around the edge. You can take your sandpaper and do that. Alright, we'll put that one in, about ½ inch. And then we'll find our end that had the plug in it. Put that up on there, and that's how you can splice your fuel line. I've never had one of them leak, so it should be fine. Now, leave that right there. Cut that off just a little. And if I don't like this later, I'll go back in and put one of my fittings in the side of the cowl, but I'm going to try to keep from cutting the cowl up any more than I have to. Alright, so we've got that done. Put the tube up. There's the fuel line. Okay, engine is completely mounted, hooked up, ready to go. Fuel tank's installed. All the lines are hooked up. Everything strapped down. This is our fill line that comes out the bottom here. I stole the yellow muffler extension off my guiles for now. One thing I forgot to mention to you new people, if you're building with a 4-stroke for the first time, there's a vent on the bottom of all these 4-strokes somewhere along here in the housing, and that's you get excess fuel leakage and build up in there, and this is to drain that off. So be sure and put a piece of fuel tube on this and run it down to where it will come out the bottom of your fuselage somewhere inside the cowl there. If you don't, the inside of your cowl will get all oily and nasty and collect dirt and dust and stuff. So be sure and put that vent tube on your 4-stroke engines. 2-strokes do not have it, just the 4 strokes.